Now, today marks the 16th anniversary on the attacks on the World Trade Center, and one of the hosts or co-hosts of Fox and Friends couldn't resist making an unrelated political point when it comes to the monuments. Now, they were discussing today's 9/11 tribute at the Flight 93 in the National Memorial near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Now, during this, he was talking with Ryan Zinke and Brian Kilmeade, again, one of the co-hosts, and somebody who's not very smart, that we've noticed anyway. He decides to ask Zinke a very ridiculous question. He said, do you worry 100 years from now that someone's going to try to take that memorial down? And of course, he's speaking of the Flight 93 National Memorial. Well, that's an odd question. Now, he also said, added, like they're trying to remake our memorials today. Now, that is in reference to the Confederate memorials that are also being taken down. Now, that is, of course, a ridiculous comparison. But before I get into that, I want to show you Zinke's response to this question, where he, of course, doesn't even address it. Let's watch.
Well, I'm one that believes that, we should learn from history, and I think our monuments are part of our country's history. We can learn from it. Since we don't put up statues of Jesus, everyone's going to fall morally short, and I think reflecting on our history, both good and bad, is a powerful statement and part of our DNA. So I'm an advocate of again, learning from our monuments, understanding the period they were made, but also is we live in a great country. And monuments are not Republican, Democrat, Independent. The monuments are a tribute to all of us.
Wait a minute. Did you catch there, by the way? Oh, man, since we don't have statues of Jesus everywhere, that means that people are going to fall morally short. Well, have these people never heard of books? Do they literally think that monuments teach you not only history, but apparently morality? Again, these people have never heard of fucking history books, man. It's crazy. Now, look, most people know that you don't learn history from memorial statues. Memorials are simply there to memorialize and to celebrate the people that are depicted in those memorials, right? Now, that's a good reason why Germany doesn't have memorials of Adolf Hitler. Again, the reason is because there are books. Books are things. Okay, books are things that contain history. So if you want to know the history, you can read a book. You don't put up a statue. Statues are essentially propaganda. I know, right? It's meant to showcase that person in usually a very positive light. And that's why, of course, we don't need memorials to remember history. Now, there are some people I do believe are worth memorializing, such as the people who make things better for people on Earth. Generally, if somebody makes life better for other people, then it would make sense to memorialize them. Not for people who actually make life worse for other people, which was in the case of the Confederate generals. Now, the other thing is, I can't seem to understand why Kilmeade's question was even there, why he would even talk about this. This is essentially conflating the Confederate memorials versus the 9/11 memorials. No, these two things are not the same, but he acts like they are. I mean, for one, look, the 9/11 memorial seeks to memorialize and honor the victims of a terrorist attack on our soil. Confederate monuments honor people who were essentially traitors against America and were fighting for slavery. Oh, no, Jeff, you don't understand. They were fighting for states' rights. What right? Oh, right, the one that allows you to own other human beings. Got out of here with that bullshit. Now, these memorials, these two different things, they couldn't be different. Now, Kilmeade's question and Zinke's answer could not be more of a pander to white supremacists, right? And that's what's sad here. Now, another sad thing about this is that there's a lot of people in the South that actually do think that, no, this is actually about history. Now, they're not, and I can prove that. The monuments, for example, were not put up right after the Civil War. Many of the people who fought in the Civil War, especially on the Confederate side, Robert E. Lee, for example, didn't want memorial statues. Why? Because he said that it would divide the nation, that they were still trying to heal after the Civil War. So putting up these memorials, in their opinion, was stupid and ridiculous and would only continue to further divisions that were already there. But see, something changed, right? Since that time. Now you have a lot of, when Jim Crow happened and the Civil Rights era happened, right? That's when these statues and memorials really started popping up everywhere, especially in the South. And look, that's also that same time as when the Confederate battle flag started showing up everywhere. Now, I think a lot of people who grew up and you know, they grew up there in this culture and they thought, hey man, look, this is my heritage. They don't understand the context and they don't understand the history of the flags and the monuments. And that's, of course, thanks to a meticulous whitewashing campaign held by people who do hold those and still hold those racist views. Okay, and because of those campaigns, people don't understand that these monuments, the only reason that they were put there wasn't to honor Robert E. Lee. This was to intimidate black people. This is not about the history and the heritage of the South. It was about intimidation. And I think that most people agree that that's not something that they want to celebrate. Now, there are some people who do know that history, do know that context, and they still want to celebrate it. We call those people racist. Just saying. For everyone else, again, they're ignorant of the history, which leads to disastrous polls such as this. There was a August YouGov poll, and in it, 54% of the American people see statues of Confederate war heroes as symbols of Southern pride. Only 26% said a symbol of racism, and 20% just didn't know. And that right there is the power of propaganda and of literal whitewashing. I don't believe that 54% of Americans are racist. That's ridiculous, right? I also think that they don't think racist symbols are awesome. It's actually much easier to believe and much more plausible that these people are just uninformed and they don't understand the context. Which makes sense if those same people are watching Fox News. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.